Yeah, so gestational diabetes, it definitely can be controlled with food, and that's what I work with women to do is to get the right meal pattern, combine foods and your nutrients in a way that does control your blood sugars.
Mhm.
But I always want women to know that some of this is out of their control a little bit. Um, I feel like working in the healthcare industry, sometimes women, us especially, and we're carrying the babies, so we can internalize a lot of that and feel like we're to blame, we've done something wrong. And that's not always the case. Really, it's not usually the case. Those pregnancy hormones tend to make things difficult. They
What do you see most common in women going through it? Like, just like the struggles for them.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you just said. It's emotional because I think there's that old way of thinking of like, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm eating for two. It's your finally your time to like go in all in on the food, right? But
Right.
with gestational diabetes, and honestly, in a pregnancy that someone doesn't have gestational diabetes, I still think that I wouldn't recommend that like all in
Or,
with food. Yeah, because I mean, I guess that's not overall healthy for anyone, but
right.
it does change things. Like you said, it throws a wrench in your plan. It now makes you have to check your blood sugar 4 times a day. And like you said, change up for everybody else. But the way that I teach people to eat is really, I don't think it's not super restrictive. And most of the women that I tend to see are not eating enough, to be really honest with you. Um, they might be eating a lot at one meal, but then they're not eating the rest of the day. So I
Oh,
work with women a lot of times to add food back in. If you're out in the woods, let's say, and you have no food or drink, you didn't pack snacks, and you get lost, your body's main goal is to keep you alive. It doesn't care if you're trying to fit into a dress next weekend. It doesn't care if you're,
right, right, right.
wanting to not eat bread because you've heard it's bad. It's meant to keep you alive. So if you're starving and not having any food coming in, it's going to eventually like slow your metabolism down. It's going to hang on to everything as a survival tactic.
Mhm.
And then what it really starts to do, because carbs are your energy source, so if you're not getting them, it's going to start to take the reserves of your glucose that you have stored up in your muscles, and it's going to start to do this like stress thing where it releases extra blood sugar into your bloodstream, which is not what we want. But when your body gets stressed out, it does weird things. So
We get
by eating,
stressed because it's not eating carbs.
I mean, it doesn't like not receiving energy. Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of natural things, natural childbirth, less medication in birth, just things like that. But I think in the way of like using metformin or insulin to lower blood sugars, it's almost a situational um, judgment call, I think, because some women just have tried and tried and they just can't get it down. For them, I think doing the insulin, if that's going to lead to the outcome of a healthier baby, sure, then it probably has to be done in certain
Right.
instances. If you're kind of riding the line and you're just struggling at certain points, then I would for sure want to work with you to get that down without having to go to insulin or medication, because I think it for sure can be controlled with nutrition, and that's type 2 diabetes as well, I think can be controlled with nutrition. Um, but again, the outcome is a healthy baby. So if I know some moms who really struggle with that fasting number, which is super common to have higher fasting numbers. Sometimes they just take a little bit of insulin at night and they're able to manage it with nutrition the rest of the day.
Mhm.
um,
Hope.
yeah, yes, I think there's hope for sure. And I always tell the mamas that I work with, I think the hope is in giving you a plan and teaching you how to do this on your own. I like to
Mhm.
empower women to
Right.
not have to rely on a dietitian for the rest of their life and not have to feel bad or guilty about this. So we cannot help your hormones. We cannot help your genetics.
Yeah.
Those things are already there. Um, the pregnancy hormones do get stronger as you get to the end. So sometimes there's women who are doing great, great, great. And then all of a sudden, right there at the end, they're like, darn, I cannot get this to go
Really
down, or I was eating X, Y, and Z and it was fine before, but now it's giving me an issue. It's
interesting.
those pregnancy hormones talking. That's what that
And
is. I don't know that anyone has ever been diagnosed and then told like towards the end that they don't have it anymore. I don't think that that happens just because of the nature of the pregnancy hormones,
right.
but there
Okay.
are for sure women who control it with diet only. A lot of women who can control it with diet only. So I think if we just allow ourselves to have the food that's fun, then I think we'll have a much healthier relationship with food. And that's like the deeper message that I try to get across, especially to women as my audience. Because I think diet culture and the world wants us to look a certain way,
Yep.
to eat a certain way, to be afraid of foods. And it's just, it doesn't have to be that complicated.